Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Madden 24 franchise. I'm going to stick with the Detroit theme, being a Michigan native, for anybody who has seen my Tigers franchise. And we're going to roll with the Detroit Lions, receiving probably the most hype that I can ever remember in my lifetime going into a season. I should also note that the Lions haven't won a playoff game in my lifetime. The last one they won was 91. I was born in 92, so I guess it's fitting that in a year where they came on the verge of making the playoffs and brought back a great deal of their talent, they got some young guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, who have probably gotten even better over the offseason. It makes sense that they would have some hype. But as we see, overall wise, it's not like the roster is absolutely loaded. I mean, compared to like a team like the Panthers, who were very underwhelming last year, had a chance to make the playoffs and blew it. They have a better overall. Patriots had a rough season. They were almost a joke last year between getting blown out by the Bears at home on Monday Night Football, having that ridiculous play to end the game against the Raiders. They're higher overall. The Rams, who were a laughingstock by the end of the year, they're not too much worse than the Lions in terms of ratings. So all of that is to say, we have high expectations. I would say Lions fans in general do, and like I think the league has pretty high expectations for the Lions. The betting lines certainly kind of belie that as well, and it'll be interesting to see as we head into what could be a really exciting campaign, how the different holes in the roster, how the offseason acquisitions, there's a ton of movement in the defensive backfield, how those different moves and attempted fixes actually solve the problems that this franchise has had for quite some time, honestly. So we're going to roll with the Lions. Just to show you the league settings, we're going to be playing all Madden. I'm going to start with 12-minute quarters at 12-second accelerated clock, and then we'll adjust if that ends up being too long. I have a feeling it might be a touch long, so I might dial it back a little bit, but that's what we're going to start with. And then I plan to use, generally speaking, the CPU suggestions. They're usually not the greatest, but just for kind of ease of making the way through these vast playbooks, I hope to rely on the CPU. And with that, so they have this new cooldown feature, which is pretty cool. It's basically just a way to limit yourself and limit people in your league if you do a multi-person league, from like quote unquote cheesy plays or plays that might be glitched. So you can't just call them over and over. My idea with this, and I'm not positive that it'll work out, but it should, and if it doesn't, then I'll just adjust this, is if I set this to essentially whenever I run a play, I can't call that same play again until 10 plays later. My hope is that the computer generated suggestions in the kind of Ask Coach playbook will be more varied than they normally are. When you hop into those in any old game, the CPU not only seems to give you a lot of plays that don't seem that appealing, but also the same kind of plays over and over and over. So my hope is that that will help kind of shuffle the deck a little more in that regard. Like I said, if it doesn't, then I'll adjust as needed. And I'm not saying that I'll never go rogue, quote unquote, and start calling my own plays. Sometimes it's necessary, and sometimes you want to be able to, focus on a particular player on, let's say, a 3rd and long. Or if it's 4th and short, maybe I just want to QB sneak it and I don't feel like doing a pass play and they want me to do a pass play. So that's going to be my approach there. Otherwise, I'll leave all these off. I think defensively, we need all help we can get, both as the Lions franchise and as a user playing on all Madden. So I don't suspect that I'll find any cheese plays or any plays that are absolute money against the computer offense. But that's what we're going to do there. This has been a controversial setting in the Madden community so far this year, home field advantage and momentum. Essentially, up until the patch a couple of days ago, this setting was broken, where if you turned it off, it would just basically not turn off allegedly that has been fixed. And I've never played a Madden game where this was part of it. I have been away from Madden since, I want to say, Madden 19. So maybe that was in that game. I don't remember it being a thing though. So I do know that it has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and a lot of people have been dying to have this turned off. So I'm going to have it turned off, and we'll roll with that. This also is turned off in the slider set that I'm going to use, which I'll talk more about when we get to it. Everything else, roster-wise, is going to be manual, and then I'll leave the tutorial pop-ups on because, like I said, I'm new to Madden on this generation of consoles. I've played a lot of Madden games in the past, and I've done a lot of franchises in the past. But I'll leave this on for the time being, and then everything else is pretty normal. I will say, with regard to trade difficulty, I'm going to set this to hard. I was testing it out a bit, and hard seems to be a pretty good balance between you're still able to make trades for certain players, but you're also not able to just absolutely rob the computer hand over fist. I'm going to set it at hard. Again, maybe, and I don't know that we can switch this once the franchise starts, but maybe very hard is the way to go. Normal, if we set it to normal, I'm assuming we'll be able to make trades that don't make a ton of sense from the computer's perspective. And while I would not intend to do that anyways, I'd rather just not even have the option and rather just have the computer be a little bit tougher at the negotiating table. So I'll set that to hard. Same idea. I'll set free agent motivation impact to high, which basically means it's easier to sign more interested players and more difficult to sign players who aren't as interested. So I think that is realistic. And everything else will be basically the same. Progressive fatigue, really cool idea. Makes sense for a football franchise to say, hey, yeah, week after week, you're just going to be more tired. And by the end of the year, you're going to have to consider limiting snaps for some guys, especially veterans. And, that idea makes perfect sense. That would be really cool. Sounds like, though, it's kind of broken in this game. I've seen a lot of reports of people saying that they get to the end of the season, whether it's the playoffs or just one of the last weeks of the regular season, and they have teams that have a lot on the line who are playing their backups and basically just doing things that don't make any sense. So we're going to set it off. Again, we're going to rely on people who have tested it numerous times and given their feedback about it as we wade into somewhat unknown waters here, with this franchise being my first one that I've done on Madden this year. And then everything else is basically the same. There's some cool possibilities with this development trait management and kind of how it all plays out. I'm just going to leave it default, but I'm intrigued to see if there are any breakthroughs in the philosophy behind what the best strategy is for realism. So we'll leave all of this the way it is. And then the only other thing that we'll look at is the starting point, which we will start in the preseason. I am starting with the rosters active as of today. So most of the cuts should already be made, but I'm not going to really play all the preseason games out in full. I'm going to just kind of do little fits and starts and use the opportunity to play a bunch of backups, aside from maybe getting the starters a couple of drives. So with that, let's go ahead and fire this league up. This is just an offline one. I'd rather have the option to play even if the EA servers are down, than rely on, the cloud save is really cool and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm fine just staying totally offline. So with that, we have some things that we can look at here. It does say, too, that we have 73 guys on the roster, I believe, right now. So let's look at the depth chart, and we'll just see what we got here. So we got Teddy Bridgewater signed, which is nice. It's a pretty reliable backup quarterback to have, I think, going into this year, particularly with Hendon Hooker still being on the mend and Nate Sudfeld not really dazzling the imagination with his performance in the preseason. So Jared Goff will be our starter. I'm kind of surprised to see he has 76 speed. I'm not mad at it, but it's a little interesting. Hooker, potential kind of guy of the future. Um, we'll see. I'm not sure actually. I don't know that I can look at his player card from here. Might have to go to just the overall roster. So let's see if we go here. I think I'll be able to look at the player cards. So he's got a normal development, like progression. So it doesn't seem like he'll be absolutely fantastic at any point, but could be pretty good, especially with the scrambler archetype. And I'm curious what practice squad eligible will mean for his development. I don't plan on him playing at all, and in real life he's coming off an ACL injury, so probably going to keep him out for the year anyways, just under that premise. But I wonder if that helps development at all. We got David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, kind of the new 1-2 tandem in the backfield, replacing Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. We also have Benny Snell, who I don't really recognize his name much. Craig Reynolds has been around for a little while. He gained some notoriety from Hard Knocks, being, I think his nickname was Netflix or something, because the whole idea was he was just sitting on his couch watching Netflix and the Lions signed him. So I'm a little surprised to see Snell rated above Reynolds, but whatever. We'll play that out. Kabinda is 65, and he's coming in at a $2 million salary. So actually, let me look at his contract. I know he is a guy that the Lions love in real life, but I don't know that he'll have a ton of value for us. So we may look to shop him. Yeah, so he's got a pretty good cap hit. 3-year salary for just 1 year. He shouldn't have a lot of trade value as a 65 overall fullback who's 27 years old. So I don't know. Maybe he'll be a special teams player for us. Not totally sure. Amon-Ra St. Brown looks like an absolute stud. Jameson Williams, certainly a controversial figure in Metro Detroit these days with his potential and with his ACL injury that he's been recovering from, and he's apparently fully back, but then he hurt his hamstring. He's obviously been suspended for the first 6 games because he placed bets on some other sports while at the Lions facility. A lot going on with him. We're going to keep him out for the first 6 weeks, akin to his regular suspension, and then we'll bring him back and we'll see. He certainly can run 98 speed, 95 acceleration. And then a pretty good clump of mediocre receivers, although there is certainly, I think, potential for some breakout players. Tight end Sam Laporta, I'm curious what his development is. It's hidden, which I've been led to believe is a really good thing. Hidden development, I think, often means he's going to be a potential star, maybe even superstar. So we'll see how that kind of plays out, quite literally, because we have to play 500 downs to unlock it. But he's somebody I know that a lot of people are really excited about in the real world. And I mean, 70 overall as a rookie is not fantastic, but I don't know that it's all that bad either. This is where we'll make our hay. A little surprised to see Jonah Jackson only as a 76 overall. I mean, he's not, I don't think, one of the very best guards in the league or anything, but he did either make the Pro Bowl or I don't think he was all pro. I think he was a Pro Bowl, whether it was last year or the year before. Vitai's a bit of a mess, so I might start Glasgow because Glasgow is a 74. And then Penei Sewell, potential cornerstone for years to come. Superstar development, so that's exciting. Aiden Hutchinson, 81 overall. Don't think he has his star development. They got his face scan down to a T. Pretty impressive. We got the Okwara brothers. We got Romeo and Julian there. A lot of guys in the same kind of development and same overall range. Aleem McNeil, I think, is a bit underrated here. He could have a really good year. But I mean, we could say that about so many guys. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. But not a lot of high-end talent here. So that might be an area that we look to address, especially because he's in normal development. I think Levy is going to be too. Yeah, he's been hurt most of his career so far. So that could be an issue for us, and could be an area that we upgrade. Jack Campbell, I wonder if he's hidden development. It is, yeah. His face scan is not correct. But he seems like he's been turning some heads early on and could be a really good player for the Lions for a long time. I think what I'll do, I'll start one of Rodrigo and Anzalone, probably just Rodriguez. I'll put him in at left outside linebacker. I'm also, I don't know. I generally don't love running a 3-4, but we might end up just doing that just because our defensive line is really not that good. As we look at the defensive backfield, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, big signing for the Lions, only an 84 overall, but seems to have completely changed the mentality of the backfield in the defensive side of things. And it's interesting that Jack Fox, who seems to be widely regarded as one of the best punters in the league, is only a 72 overall. I'm guessing punters in general are not rated very highly. Let's see what his punting stats are, like kick power, kick accuracy. So 93 kick power, 94 accuracy. I mean, he's a superstar development, but only 72 overall. That's interesting. So that's our roster and kind of how it's looking. Before we hop in to some mini games and start doing some of that, let's set our sliders. So I am going to be using the slider set of Matt 10, which I'll link in the description. You can find his sliders on Operation Sports. There's going to be some minor tweaks in terms of, like, he has the minimum play clock time set a little bit higher, but he uses all Madden simulation, 12-minute quarter length, and that's what I'm going to be rocking with too. So I'm going to plug these in right here live. So accuracy and blocking for the user for player skill are both at 50, so his wide receiver catch run blocking is a little bit lower, so we'll go to 35 for that. Ball security, I guess this used to be named the fumble slider. That'll be 49, which is interesting to me. Whenever you see those very subtle tweaks, I wonder if it really makes a difference or not, but I'm not a slider creator, so who am I to critique? All right, so QB accuracy is going to be 45. These are updated per the most recent patch that I alluded to earlier. Seems like a big point of consternation for a lot of people is the CPU run game. Not that it's unsuccessful necessarily, but just that they don't use it very much. But a potential fix, or at least something that made it apparently a little better, was mentioned by somebody on Operation Sports in the realm of not using live playbooks, turning those off. So we'll turn those off and hope that it ends up making a difference. So injuries are going to be set to, this is another tweak I'm going to do. He has injuries at 25. I'm going to go down to 20. Just in general, I'd rather see less injuries than more injuries. I know it's football, but it's also fictional football. And I'd rather just not have as many injuries as part of the game. Even with him at 25, in the little bit of testing I've done, I've noticed that guys are getting hurt constantly. So we'll roll with that. Penalty sliders, these are often debated as being futile, but I have seen some penalties in the games I've played. I saw a pass interference. I even saw a roughing the passer, which was a good call. It actually definitely would have been called in real life. So we'll set these according to what he's got. But like I said, there's a lot of people who are of the mindset that none of this stuff really matters. He has intentional grounding off. I'm sure there is a particular reason for it, but I'll just leave it on. I'm fine with it. Roughing the passer. Okay. Yeah, that's all good. So, with that, those should be squared away. I'll look at the franchise settings, league settings, and then I'll check user settings. This should all be the same, so it looks like I can change that stuff. Curious, can I change? I can modify the trade settings too, so that's good to see. Wasn't sure if it would let me change it once we're in the franchise mode itself. I've heard a lot about these menus being molasses level speed. It seems like the patch has helped in that regard. Let's go to franchise settings. Okay, no, user settings is what I want. The famous with wind. You can do the Marty Morningwig and choose the wind as your first choice. For anyone who doesn't know, there was a game in the early 2000s, probably was 2002 or 3, where the Lions won the coin toss in overtime. They were playing in Chicago, and their coach, Marty Morningwig, instead of choosing to receive, chose, we'll take the wind. And then Paul Ettinger, former Michigan State great, Bears kicker, blasted a field goal into the wind that was apparently more valuable than having the ball in overtime. And the Lions lost. All right, so these are some other settings that he has. He has off auto flip defensive play call off. So that's basically just the computer will automatically match the offensive formation based on your play call. I'm going to actually set that to on just because that's something that I would enjoy the computer's help with. So I'm going to set that to on. Ball hawk is on. Heat seeker assist off. Switch assist off. And controlled player art off. That's fine. And then otherwise, everything should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'll overwrite these ones I've got here. And let's do some mini games. It looks like I can play whatever one I want. So I'm going to do the Amon-Ra St. Brown one. These are a nice blast from the past. You know, it's funny because Madden has been playing up to like, oh, enjoy your nostalgia and playing these games. It's pretty stupid that they ever took them out of the game. But these are fun.
What's that?
Torched him there. And one thing I got to get a lot better at is the different kinds of user catch. Oh, got him. Yeah, St. Brown's putting on a show here. Got him. Oof, tough one. 2 points away from a silver medal. That's fine. I'll take it. So I'll be curious to see, as the year goes on, how much of a difference playing those games versus simming a lot of them makes in player development. So we have a chance to set the game plan every week. Now, I'm fine with just doing whatever they want. What I am curious about, yeah, they're worried about the scramble. I don't know that the computer scrambles enough to actually say that we should worry about that. But whatever, I'll just leave this the way it is. It's fine. I'm curious about the manage player health thing, because right now it says it's locked. And I'm wondering if that, I've tested it in the regular season before and it doesn't seem to magically appear. So, not totally sure if that's just something that I need to like develop my coach more or what. But we just played a mini game, so I'll leave these as they are. That's fine. Not gonna play it. And we'll do that. I have to look into the player health thing because I think that deals with, like, you can say if you want to be full pads or, you know, half pads, whatever. It's kind of cool though because guys can get hurt in practice, which is not ideal, but is realistic with it being football. So yeah, it looks like Jonah Jackson sprained his ACL. So that's a bit of a bummer. Better than a tear for sure. But we'll check him out in terms of his prognostication. So let's see, injury report. Zylstra tore his MCL, which that was a pre-existing injury. So it looks like Jackson's out 1 week, no problem at all. So I suppose we can upgrade our players before we hop into our first preseason game here. So I get these superstar abilities. I'll do deep threat for St. Brown. I don't know if there's really a bad choice there with the different options. But we'll do that. And then we'll upgrade Sudfeld and Hart and get into the game. I don't expect Sudfeld to make the team. But he might get some reps here in the preseason, so might as well upgrade him while I have the chance to. All right. So let's jump into the preseason game. I'm going to do moments. So it seems like it'll just be a lot of like third downs and, you know, 2-minute warning kind of things. I'm going to have the Giants wear their throwbacks. So let's see, I think they're Color Rush. Yeah. So I have them wear those, and we can just wear our normal ones. That's fine. Advanced settings shouldn't matter much, although we do want to make sure live playbooks are off. And I guess I'll stick with the 3-4 for now, which is the default for Dan Campbell and the Lions. Test it out a bit in the preseason here. I think by default, the computer will sub out the starters, at least most of the starters, after the first quarter. So normally that's not really how things would run, I don't think, but we can do that. So it looks like we're on offense. Shark Wheel is made famous by Big Cat from Barstool during COVID a couple years ago. I'm going to go with this gun dagger play. And probably look for, I guess, Williams on the drag. Maybe Laporta over the middle of the field. I'm going to try Williams. Tough catch to try to make in traffic. It's good defense by them. Former Lion great Amari Oworie with the stop there. All right, looks like we're on defense here. I have not had success with zone defense at all against the pass, so I'm going to be running heavy man. And obviously man is not necessarily the end-all be-all as we get torched. I think he might have been down there, but fumbled, recovered it, scored a touchdown. Paris Campbell, number 0. A lot of interesting things going on with that play, but great route by him. Yeah, it looks like he was down, but he was down short of the line, so I guess they just said that was fine. That was all good. It was interesting. So Teddy Bridgewater's in. We got an RPO here. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to hand off. I'm not really going to make the read. Jameer Gibbs got our lane there. So first down Lions. And yeah, so this is interesting to see. We do see it's like, well, here's the RPO zone peak, but you can't run it yet. And they're not replacing it with another play, so that's a little bit of a bummer. I kind of like this bunch setup here. It's key that I read it correctly, and it looks like we did. So we got Reynolds all the way up to the 1. I really like a shotgun run in these situations because it usually spreads the defense out a bit. And we are successful there. Jameer Gibbs, first touchdown as a Lion, although not really officially because it's only preseason. That's good to see. Really excited to see how the Lions use him this year in his receiving and running back capacity. Once the regular season starts, I intend to play full games. But I'm just going to do this moments thing for the preseason. I'm trying to tell how many starters we have in the mix still. I mean, Gibbs is technically a backup, but he's essentially a starter. He's going to be getting plenty of snaps. I don't love this combination of routes. So what I might do is put Reynolds on a hitch. See if that helps. Not seeing anything great here. Just going to throw it away. Bridgewater does have enough speed to get out of the pocket in situations like that, which is nice. I'll go with the choice route for Gibbs here. And might have Raymond across the middle, but probably not. Yeah, I was hoping Gibbs would sit down there, and he did, but he dropped it. That's a situation where I probably got to do the secure catch. Help my cause a little bit. So we'll try the field goal. I've struggled a bit with my kicking so far. So we'll see if this is alright. Looks like we got that one. And I'm not sure how the computer will rotate subs as we get deeper into the game, like if they'll just automatically bring in Hendon Hooker. If that happens, I'll probably just let him play it out. I'm not going to be too worried about it. Looks like we have 3rd and 4 here. I wouldn't mind a inside zone, but I'll go with a mesh. Still Teddy Bridgewater. Looking for, I guess we could say we're looking for Gibbs out of the backfield, but more likely going to be looking to hit Reynolds here. Reynolds doesn't have a ton of space, and I kind of forced that one in there. So a bit of an awkward spot on the field. They didn't even let me try to go for it. But 46, I guess it's not that awkward. I'm going to try to go for it, though. And actually, I know it's 4th down, so this is a bit risky. And really what I should have done is just called this on 3rd down, knowing that I would go for it on 4th. But I think what I'm going to do is go for an inside zone. And I'd want to go out of shotgun. But I'm thinking these plays are all... Yeah. I'm just going to call timeout here. Certainly need to familiarize myself with the playbook better, which, I mean, hey, it's preseason, so it's all part of the deal, right? Let's see. Let's go gun, and I like the look of this, yeah. I like when the running back is lined up a yard or two behind the quarterback for these runs, too. I don't know that it really makes it any more successful, but it just feels a little better. So took a risk there, didn't pay off. We got 3.5 yards when we needed 4. But that's all right. Another 3rd and 6. We are at the 50. So not as advantageous a spot as the last time we took over on 3rd down. I'm going to look for probably right. I don't know that I'm going to have time to look for Mitchell. We do have Brock right there across the middle. It's a nice completion to keep the drive moving. Another 3rd down. This one's 3rd and 8. We're at the 34, so here's what I think I'm going to do. It's a little further than I would like, but I am going to run it here to set up going for it on 4th down. We got a hole there for sure, and Gibbs hit it. That's a nice conversion. All right. Hopefully it'll let us just finish out the drive. I kind of want to run like a play action. I don't love this route combo though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Reynolds go there, and then I'll send Mitchell out. I think I'll just be able to get these adjustments off in time. Ooh, this was almost a disaster, but it'll be okay, I think. And we'll take the first and just slide down. I like that slide animation they've added for quarterbacks, where you can fall down forward without doing the extended lunge dive. Because the problem with the traditional like baseball slide, where you go feet first, is you give up a lot of potential yardage. As we see the Lions draft class from 2023. Early returns are positive, even though they took some heat on draft night for drafting a running back and a linebacker in the first round, but both look like they'll play a lot of snaps, and both have been impressive so far. Oof, it's a pretty good pass. James Mitchell, young tight end out of Virginia Tech, could not bring it in though. All right, so see, here's where this is just dumb. And I mean, I guess what's nice is even from the suggestion menu, we can sort by formation. So that does help kind of produce some variety here. Maybe this corner out dig will be good. Looking for Benson maybe, although I don't know. I might try and high point Reynolds, see if that works. Don't think it's going to, but yeah. All things considered, not a terrible result. We got a chance there at an aggressive catch. So we'll try another field goal here. I think that one will be good. Honestly, kicker's another position where we could look to upgrade. And Patterson is decent, but he doesn't have a huge leg. And Giants just really quickly scored 2 touchdowns, so I'm wondering if after they scored the first one, if there was some kind of pick six or if something happened there. So 3rd and 4, we're going to go for it if we don't get it, but we're going to run here. Gibbs has space. He's had a good game, a lot of carries. 24 for almost 100. All right, so we're taking over here in the red zone. Gotta familiarize myself more with these RPOs, just in terms of I don't have a ton of confidence in running them. Oh, bad ball. I think it was the right idea, but I threw it too late and didn't throw it nearly accurately enough. So Giants get the pick. All right, looks like we're going to get the ball back with a chance to hopefully drive down the field and tie the game. One thing that I've noticed that's pretty weird looking is how quickly the snap gets back to the punter. It like levitates back there. I don't know why they chose to do that. Maurice Alexander had a huge punt return in this very game a couple of weeks ago, but no such luck there. All right, so here we go. Let's take over here and try and tie the game. Touchdown and 2-point conversion. Double dig. I guess this will do. I'm going to send Gibbs deep and try and read the safety. And I'm also going to send right on a slant. That's more likely going to be my read. Looks like Gibbs will have single coverage, so I'm going to throw it up there to him. Good one-on-one coverage there by whoever 34 is. Let's see. Let's try the shallow cross concept. It's a lot of traffic there with that bunch. But I'm probably going to look for Benson on the dig. A good catch and some run after catch. So it'll take us to the 2-minute warning. let's look for... I like a good angle route. Can be a bit risky depending on what kind of coverage they're running. So I suppose we'll have Reynolds. But honestly, I think I'm going to sit him down. Actually, no, I'm going to run him on an out route there. Angle route looks decent. Gibbs with a catch and run. We don't need to freak out just yet. I think we're in a good spot on the field, so I'm guessing we'll still have, now the Excel clock is turned off, so that helps. I don't love these routes. Let's bring Raymond on a drag, and let's just get right the heck out of there. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. We got Reynolds there, but kind of a bust. We took a long time setting up a play that didn't really do anything for us. So taking too much time here, but it's all right. It's all part of the preseason experience, honestly. Familiarizing myself with the playbook and what kind of routes I want to run. Oh man, that was a disaster. I think I had a couple options, but was too gun shy. All right, so let's see. See, this is what I talk about in terms of, like, sometimes the computer's just really dorky. They're basically just saying, yep, run a Hail Mary. It's like, guys, I think we got a little more in our playbook available than literally just a Hail Mary. I mean, it's 4th and 12. It's not an ideal situation, but I think we can try something else with a little more creativity. So let's try this. Nah, it's not going to be good. Yeah. Knew it as soon as I threw it. For some reason, Ragnar's still in the game, which that should not be the case. But I'm guessing it's because we don't have a backup center. We can sim this. This doesn't matter anymore. So let's just get out of this. We only have one timeout left. So that's your ball game. We lose the opener. It's preseason. It's all good. Not too worried about it. They got Dan Campbell looking pretty slim. I also don't know that he tucks his shirt in much. But we saw some good things out of Gibbs. I'll check. I don't know if it'll let me see the injuries. I'm guessing it won't here, so I'll just be able to check that after we get out of this game menu. I don't think we experienced any in gameplay. The Giants had one on that punt return right around the 2-minute warning. But we'll see in the injury report if we picked any up. It looks like we got through the game unscathed. So I think we're good to just move us along. I do want to look at the box score though. Let's check our player stats. So Goff got sacked once, but was 4 for 6 in limited action. Gibbs had the lion's share of carries. Montgomery had 5 for 2 yards. It's not ideal. And then, yeah, a whole lot of nothing from a lot of our guys. I don't know that Amon-Ra played at all. All right. Honestly, just happy to get through a preseason game without any injuries. So let's advance the week. Move ahead to the next week in the preseason. And we'll upgrade our players. Looks like we got a lot of upgrades to give out. So actually, let me just see here. If I do this, it'll just take care of it. I'll probably choose that more often than not. Especially when we have multiple like that, it just makes it a lot easier to get through them quicker. Let's look at the game plan. As I said before, I'm pretty much good just doing whatever they want to do. Fine by me. And let's play a mini game here. Let's do this survival game, which is a new one to my knowledge, from the whole nostalgia of the past, where basically you just have to try and stay alive. It's like playing tag almost. So you just have to try and stay alive for the longest possible time while all these computer guys are chasing after you. Alright, looks like I'm going to pick up this one here. And now I'm getting into trouble. Yeah, kind of fun. I'm usually not a huge like stick skill kind of guy, where I'm juking people left, right, and center. But this does allow you to practice that a bit. Although I'm a bit reticent to let them even get close enough to try that. Yeah, it's the end of the road there. All right. Sure, there's some ideal strategy for that particular mode. That's a fun one. We'll do that one. Let's do... Haven't tried this coverage skeleton understaffed one before, so let's try this one. Alright, so it looks like we're just basically trying to play our zone and prevent them from getting a completion. Ooh, I got torched there. See, I will say though, this one is a lot more realistic than... There's another one where it tells you what route the guy's running, and you just have to try and break up the pass. And that really just seems like... I mean, I guess it lets you practice your stick skills a bit, but it seems kind of just like a waste of time, where it's like, I know it's practice, but why would we know what route they're running? What good does that do for us as a defensive back to practice? Like, okay, they're going to be running this 5-yard out. You would never get that advantage in a real game, so why would we have a chance to practice that way? I'm getting torched right now, which is fine. I mean, it's good, actually good practice. I don't intend to user defensive backs very often, but I don't mind this. This is good. It's the way it should be. Difficult. Just a bit late there with the breakup, but at least made the tackle. Oh, Amon-Ra, man. Too good. Yeah, so we're not going to be getting much in the way of development from this. At least not development in actual, like, rating points, but development in stick skills. Probably more than anything else. I don't know if they have gotten a single incompletion yet. I don't think we've stopped a single play. Seems like, yeah, there's more of a team element for this particular game than a lot of other ones, too. Most of the other ones are just, hey, you as the individual do or don't do this thing. But this is, even if I have good coverage on a play, my computer teammates might not. Oh, just missed the breakup there. Yeah. That was a tough one. And we'll do a Jack Campbell one. I think we'll just do like a bull rush pass, pass rush kind of thing. So let's see. We'll just do the normal trench battle. Probably makes more sense to do chase and tackle because he's a linebacker. And he would never be in a three-point stance, but that's fine. These ones are fun. That's terrible blocking. I'm sure this, if you could create this, which I guess teams do by having like dummy quarterbacks, but probably pretty satisfying to be able to just tee off on the quarterback, but also not have to worry about injuring him because it's not a real guy. That was so stupid. But it's quick, and we got a silver, so we'll take it. If that is in any way, shape, or form a sign of how the blocking is going to be for us this year, we are going to be in serious trouble. All right, so let's start training and sim that out. Still not seeing the option to change any of the practice health settings, so hopefully everyone gets through this okay. But like I said, I like that element of the game where it's football and guys can get hurt in practice. So someone did get hurt. Hutchinson dislocated his shoulder. That's a big time bummer. One of our best defensive players and also one of our young guys, most in need of development. Let's see how long dislocated shoulder injuries appear to be. It says 1 week for him, so that's fine. With it being the preseason, no big deal. And so let's do our upgrades here. And I want to just look at the roster real quick and see what our overalls are looking like. So Kirby Joseph trending up, Brian Branch trending up. I want to see what Branch's development is. Yeah, he might be really good. He was a steal in the second round for sure. It's actually kind of funny how drafts work with the instant reactions and the grades that are given out and stuff. If the Lions had taken Branch with one of their first round picks, let's say they take like Branch at 12 and then Gibbs at 18 and they take Jack Campbell in the second round, they probably have a bunch of people saying, oh, this is great. You know, awesome decision making there by Brad Holmes, and you know, what a draft. But you rearrange the order of the guys and it's like, oh well, you know, Lions could have really done a lot better there. I mean, I get the idea of player value and not wanting to take someone like a running back or a linebacker in the first round when those positions are less valuable than other ones. It makes sense, especially because you have to pay guys a certain amount given where you draft them. But it is kind of funny that the 3 players they ended up with in between the first and second rounds, and there might have even been another second round pick in there, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think as a whole those guys would be viewed very positively had the order been rearranged. All right, so that is where we will wrap up this first episode. I'm going to save here and then we'll come back. We'll finish out the preseason and maybe look at the trade market a bit, see if there's anywhere we can upgrade, especially with regard to our defensive line or with regard to our kicking position potentially. And we'll get ready for Kansas City in week 1. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you again soon.